Bob, you've really been very effective as a leader for USGS Water Resources for a couple decades. And I wonder if you would share with us those management and leadership principles that you followed all those years.
Well, thank you for the compliment, Jody. I've thought a lot about leadership. I used to help instruct in the USGS Leadership Training Program. I think one of the most important things that I was determined to do and I did throughout my tenure in leadership positions in the USGS was to stay closely connected to the science. The USGS is a science agency, and while there are many demands about management and budgets and many issues that swirl around us, science has to be the core of it. And listening to our scientists and seeking out our scientists to have them tell me the stories so that I can understand the science that we're doing, why it's important, and then where it needs to go in the future was terribly important to me to have that science content and to be the translator of their work, which they may spend an hour telling me about the subject, and I have to figure out how to explain it in a minute to a lay audience. But staying engaged at that level was very important, and asking and also being able to ask questions of our scientists and our other science leaders, I think, was important. So that engagement was critically important. Another aspect, I think, is creating dialogue, creating an opportunity for people throughout the organization to have input into management decisions in the organization. But very specifically, I made it clear to people that it was not a democracy. We were not going to take a vote on what we should do. We weren't even necessarily going to achieve consensus, but they all have to have a sense that they have an input and that they've been heard and that the debate has been had, and then we can move forward. And ultimately, it was my responsibility to make those decisions. I think along with that comes the idea that to not shoot the messenger. Many organizations have the problem of people being fearful of stating a contrary position, of arguing that something's not working the way it should, something's not right, that they disagree with the boss and that they're going to be in trouble for disagreeing. I always really tried to maintain the atmosphere that we could take criticism, we could have disagreements, and that I was comfortable with that. And in fact, there would be occasions when I would put ideas on paper and say, here's an idea of something we ought to do. Now criticize it. Tell me what's wrong with it. And if I got silence, I'd really kind of get angry with people. And I'd say, come on, this can't be that good an idea. Give me your criticism, give me your critiques. And people recognized that I wanted that back and forth. I wanted their input. And frankly, that's what I enjoy, is that sort of that debate. And people seeing that I wanted debate and discussion, I think caused those people to feel willing and able to work with me and carry out some of the visions that I had. I think the other piece about leadership is the importance of delegation. Picking outstanding individuals that you can trust to move forward on issues, but that doesn't mean ignoring where they're going with those issues, but it means coming back to them from time to time and saying, how is it going? Where are you headed? And to be able to say, hey, this is great what you're doing. I do have a little interest over here, and I want to ask you about tweaking what you're doing a little bit in this direction. And part of it is just that interaction of showing that I care about the way in which they're carrying out that mission is important. I learned that, I think, from one of the best leaders I ever worked for, Dallas Peck, former director of the USGS. And I was I was 2 levels below him in the organization, but he would sit down with all the managers in the water discipline, and he would ask us about the things that he cared about. How are we doing on this? How are we doing on that? And I developed a relationship with him because I could see how much he cared about the things that I was doing and the particular things that he wanted to see happen. And I've always thought it was really important to develop that relationship a rung down, not to micromanage them, but to indicate a level of interest and suggestions along the way.